Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is ClassicNative. So have you guys ever wondered what the actual odds or the chances of you finding your alphas, your gammas, your secret abilities, or your corrupts are? Well, based on some public messages from T-Bradham, we know that there are event or regular Loomian seeds, RNG seeds in Loomian Legacy. So today we're going to explain to you how this actually works out. So I've already drawn up a graph for you guys to understand your chances at actually receiving a gleam, just in general. It could be alpha, it could be gamma, or an SA or a corrupt. Now this is all theory. We don't know if this is 100% correct. So test this at your own time or your own will. But so far, a lot of YouTubers and I have been discussing this in multiple Discords about how we think that this theory works. So if you guys don't understand what a seed is at first, when you enter into a server for Loomian Legacy, you personally get generated a seed, and that seed holds data of what can be found in your server for you specifically, which this means that they already know, the computer has already generated in your seed where there's going to be an alpha, a gamma, an SA, or a corrupt that's going to encounter when you encounter it. So here we currently have an event going on, which kind of makes this an interesting thing for the Geklos, and you can see that above here, and you can see down below the regular Loomian seed. So since we have an event, when you enter a server, you get two numbers for your seed. You have a line of numbers, 1 through infinity or X, that's for your event, and you have another line that's for your regular Loomians. Now, when you enter into these servers, what's already predetermined is where on that seed you could already find a alpha, a gamma, a SA, or a corrupt. The thing that we don't know is the RNG of where you're placed on those seeds. So every time you go into the trade resort or you go to your server back to adventure mode, you're placed on a random spot on either of these lines. So let's put a line here in the middle. You're placed somewhere on this line in the middle that links up with these seeds. With that said, that means you now have the chance of possibly being right next to an encounter. So as you can tell, I've got blue for alpha and green for SA. So if you spawned here on your server, you could be potentially 2 encounters away from hitting a guaranteed alpha SA. That is only determined when you enter into a new server, when you refresh your new server. You do not know which Loomian this would be. So when you hit this encounter, you're guaranteed it to be an alpha SA. We'll just say that for instance. If you have an RNG roll of a normal Loomian, a regular Loomian, so let's say Shachi, Geklo, Slugling, Twillat, you would get this seed. You would hit this seed, and it would be an alpha SA. But if your roll, because we have an event going on, happened to become a event Geklo, you would not get anything. It would just be whatever color. It would be gold, bronze, silver, emerald, ruby, sapphire. It'd be any one of those. So let's go further down to this line here. If you lined up with this one and you rolled a normal Loomian, you would get a gleaming alpha, we have selected. Or if you got lucky enough and your roll was an event Geklo, you would get an alpha Geklo. These values, the alphas, gleamings, and SAs, are already determined when you join into a server. The thing that we can't really predict is how many encounters you are away from things. Yeah, with this chart, it shows very close together because it's just a small chart that I whipped up for the description of this. But we know the odds are like 1 in 128 or no boosting 1 in 2048. So realistically, what that means is on average, let's say you're boosting 1 in 128, these X's would actually be on average about 128 encounters apart from each other. Now you could get lucky and they could be 4 or 5 encounters apart from each other or back to back, but they on average on your seed would be an about 1 in 128 chance, or whatever SA, alpha, or gamma. With that being said, what we've started doing, or what we've kind of suggested when we are talking about trying to reset your RNG seed, we suggest, us YouTubers and everybody who's been talking about it, that if you land on, let's say, this alpha right here, this alpha event Loomian, we suggest that you catch that alpha or SA or whatever it happens to be and do another like 10 minutes of encountering on that server, because you might be close to another encounter, but like I said previously, you might be 128 encounters. You don't know. So after about 10 minutes, if you don't find anything at all on that server, go to your trade resort and then go to your adventure mode, and that'll actually reset your whole seed. T. Bradham in his public post posted that changing your routes does not reset your seed, but going to refreshing your whole server, refreshing your character, leaving the game and coming back, so essentially going to the trade resort and coming back, does do this. And when you refresh this, if you were 100, 200, or 300 encounters away from your next alpha, when you reset, your character might get placed on a new seed line really close to this alpha right here. And resetting that seed gives you that extra chance. I don't think I'm missing anything here. I might. Ominous, you might be able to hear me. If I'm missing anything, chime in real quick. I guess I can add that roamings are not included in your event encounters, or your event or regular loomings. Those are not counted in predetermined. Those are just lucky encounters. So when you encounter a Loomian on like this tag, it could be an event, or it could be event up here, it could be regular, it could be roaming, it could be a peer mine. You never know. But what is predetermined based on your seed generating is going to be whether it's going to be alpha or gamma or SA or both. That's how we think of it so far. So what we've been doing as a technique is basically just find an alpha, find a gamma, one or the other, it doesn't matter, catch that, or choose not to, it's up to you. Go for about another 5 to 10 minutes. If it's a dry streak for that 5 to 10 minutes, just reset your server. Your server might place you on a new seed where you're closer to finding a better rarity, like a gamma or an alpha or an event alpha. Sometimes when you reset your seed, you could still generate a seed where you're 200 or 300 lines away from the next alpha, but that's where you're just going to want to hunt for a while. And if you go, this seems like a dry server, just reset on your own. That's up to you.
I just looked at the stream. Jeez.
Do you have anything else that you think I might have missed, Nebula?
Okay. So I had a BRB for like the first 5 minutes, but I'm looking at it right now. It looks like you covered everything. And one thing that Squid, one of your viewers, mentioned was basically when your boost runs out in game, it pretty much just adds more X values in between each of those like Gleam X's.
Yeah, I can explain that more. Yeah, I can explain that more. So let's say you activate boost, but you're like, oh, boost. So what you'll see if you want a visual representation of what boost shows is you're seeing these X's on my chart here. Say you're boosting and it's 1 in 128. I'm just going to use this middle line as an example. You're going to see more X's next to each other. I know they're not going to be this close. That's not how it's going to be. But if you're boosting, you're going to see more X's closer together. If we could actually pull up a seed, you would see that in the coding. Now, if you're not boosting, where it's a 1 in 248 chance, you would see them spread way apart. So like above on the top of the screen here I'm drawing, you would see bigger distances.
Would you have to rejoin to get that result, or would it just automatically
I don't think we know that. I don't think that without being able to see the coding work, I don't think we would be able to tell you guys, the viewers, if you would need to reset your server after your time runs out, or if you would need to reset your server once you add boost to your timer.
more safe just to
I would assume
rejoin?
I would assume that it would have to auto code and just pick it up and start averaging right then and there without you rejoining. Because if you're boosting and it runs out, its seed is not going to stay at an average of 128 when you run out. It has to somehow adapt itself into everyone in 2048. So the coding or the computer is going to pick up that your character does not have that boost anymore. So I guess it would probably be safe though. If you're just now starting a boost, I would reset my server. If you just now turned on a boost, reset it. If your boost runs out, I don't think it matters. You're just going to start seeing less of them in general. But like I said previously, there could be a chance where you could get back-to-backs and you just got lucky. The 1 in 128 or the 1 in 2048, that's just the average number of these X's you're probably going to see in your seed. But yeah, I mean, go ahead and comment down below, guys, if you guys have any different theories about what the RNG debunking could be. This is just strictly a theory based on YouTubers talking with each other and all the different kind of informations we have. If you guys want to add anything, go ahead and hit us up in the comments, or if you have us on Discord, talk to us on Discord. Yeah, happy hunting, and feel free to hunt however you want to, but this is definitely the theory we're kind of going with right now, and I hope it kind of explains it. It doesn't really change anything. If you want to stay in a server and hunt in a server the whole time, go for it, because you still have those chances on your seed to get the really good lucky seed. But you never know, your seed could be one of those unlucky ones, and now you know how to maybe manipulate that. You guys have a good one, and I'm ClassicNative, and thank you, Nebula, for helping a little bit, and chat, they threw in their little comments to help me keep going with the video, and see you guys next time.